I believe that there are micro solutions to these mega problems. Okay. Well, to start off with, I was working with this NGO, the MS Swaminathan Foundation. And as you know that in Maharashtra, a lot of farmers were committing suicide because of poverty, and they were grabbed into this net in which the landlords were just extorting money out of them, and they didn't have any to give. So basically I started working with them, and I realized that Muhammad Yunus had an idea of creating self-help groups, and I think that is the only way in which we can eradicate poverty, because poverty in India begins not at the urban level, at the rural level. It begins at the rural level. The rural poor come to the urban areas to earn money, and they form the urban poor. So basically what we have to do is we have to look at the grassroots level instead of looking at the top level. In India, whatever measures we have, they don't have a penetrating effect. They don't go downwards. So basically we need to start at the grassroots level so that this entire effort has to be motivated at the base, because if we have a strong base, then only we can go higher towards it. And by forming self-help groups, people can actually come together, communities can come together, they can save their money, and then they can work towards the upliftment of the society. In specific, I was working with this self-help group which gathered some money and opened a paper-making plant using banana paste, banana waste. So they didn't have to spend anything on the raw materials, but then they started doing that, and it was pretty successful. They've opened up a school over there in South India. So I think the only way to do this is by creating small self-help groups, because even though the government has planned a lot of, they have a lot of plans, they have NREGA 2005, everything, but the thing is they lack implementation, and it doesn't have a penetrating effect. Thank you very much.
It may sound a bit ambitious, but the word is integration into the society. That requires a lot of effort, but first of all, I feel that we need to develop a respect for them. A very simple example is that we don't have dignity of labor. We look down upon them because they are not as privileged as us. So unless we develop a respect for them and a hope that they can be like us, we cannot be motivated to eradicate poverty in India.
One more thing I would just like to add to what Abhishek said. Some people have also started forming NGOs that adopt villages. By adopting a village, I mean they go there, they take care of the village and the members of that village community completely. Whether it's education, whether it's providing them with a little bit of money for setting up electricity, sanitation, etc. Basically empowering them, and that's what we need to do. We need to empower the rural poor to get motivated to actually take up jobs, and whether it's something as small as farming or anything. I, along with a few of my friends, just recently started an NGO. We got it registered by the government, and we adopted a village in UP, and we're going there. And that's what we do. We empower them, we teach them a little bit, and like Abhishek said, self-help groups are essential.
Adding to what Mana and Abhishek just said on empowerment as well as self-help groups, I'd like to highlight the role that cooperatives have been playing in India. For example, the Amul milk dairying cooperative movement, it mobilized 2.5 million people in that state. And it had provided them with employment opportunities, as well as there are a lot of women cooperatives coming up now, so that's empowerment for women as well. And I believe that the key solution for all of our problems would be education. And like the Anubhav Shiksha Kendra initiative that has been started, if this permeates to every single part of India, I don't think we'd be facing a problem like this. I think everybody would be aware, everybody would know their rights, and everybody would question the government. And it's only if we question the government will the government actually be accountable to us. That's what we need to do.
I have not joined any NGO. I did something with the slums on my own. What I noticed was that children are going to school, but the adults of the slum cluster, especially the males, are involved in gambling, alcohol, drugs. that results to domestic violence. Domestic violence then goes on to the children where they have to leave school. So, rather than going on, as Abhishek said, it has to begin at the micro level. We as individuals, as students, should contribute. If we've got the privilege to be where we are today, we have to pass on that privilege to other people, and we don't have to look down upon them.
To answer the question about what the government should do, I think the most important factor would be right now a lot of money gets invested in education, but somewhere down the line it tends to get lost. So a very good solution would be if the government directly interacted with the local governments, which are known as panchayats and municipalities, in terms of investing in education. Because if we cut down the people in the middle, I think the money would get a lot more wisely spent by local communities. As individuals, I think we can obviously work with NGOs, but I think more importantly what we can do is also try seeing what we can do around us. A lot of us have domestic help at home, and these people tend to have children who need help. Now, I personally think that even if we help them with something as simple as learning how to speak English, it can make a huge difference. It's just a small thing, but it can make a huge difference.
I'm probably being idealistic here, but I think there's a need to change. There's a need for a change in attitude. I've seen there's a sense of complacency, which a lot of us are enthusiastically breaking out of. And because that complacency is one reason why people are happy with the way they are. People are happy being poor. And even though you have shelter homes opening up for them, they don't want that restricted life. They want a free life, so they rather live on the streets. I know that a lot of us and a lot of my friends, a lot of my seniors have gone into policy. There's a need for reformation. So they've gone into the field of policy, and we have groups like Teach India, where my students my age actively engage in teaching the deprived and making education accessible to them, bringing education closer to them. And that's about it.